Okay, Tristan, the first thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that Dom is trying to get us to go on a cruise.
And it's so important that she does that. Yeah. And I know we may have different opinions on that, but like when she immediately brought it up, I was the most happy I've been in quite some time. Mm-hmm. And it caused some controversy in my LA group chat.
Oh, are they against it too? Are they on?
There's certain people that are thinking it's going to be like Titanic vibes. And then there are other people that are thinking like, oh, I'm on board with that. But like, they're also thinking, like, can we just go to, like, Mexico and go to Tulum and just get a big house and just stay there?
No, and by the way, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Wait, so our cruise group is expanding?
Yes.
Okay,
and I forgot to tell you guys that.
No, we're so into it. No, I love that.
Yeah.
There is something I need to tell you about Dom before we go on this cruise.
Of course, yeah.
Dom has to take Dramamine on a flight.
And so, naturally, she suggested we do cruises.
Yeah, and I don't know why she thinks... You know what that means, right?
Yeah. Like, so you get, like, really dizzy and, like, seasick vibes.
She is going to hate a cruise.
Yeah. That's like, you really can't, like, even when you step off at like all the ports and stuff, like you feel like you're still moving for days later.
Yeah.
So like the worst is yet to come.
So has this changed your mind on the cruise?
A little bit.
Yes. See, I've been trying to tell people. I'm like, everyone thinks I'm bullying her on the line. I'm like, no, I just know you well enough to know that we're going to spend this money and go on this cruise and you're going to be in bed sick the entire time.
Yeah.
Imagine being drunk on a cruise and like
then
having that.
The hangover when you're already dizzy from it. Okay, so it sounds like what we need to do is meet in the middle. And I'm thinking an all-inclusive somewhere. And then we have a day on a boat, like a big... Because I went to a wedding in Tulum. And we did like a huge boat day, like on a catamaran. Like I sound like rich saying that. Like I'd never done that. It was split like 40 ways. So like...
It ended up being like $40. But anyways, yeah.
So like I'm not rich, don't worry. But no, it was like that's the best of both worlds. And then those things include everything. So like they include like food, alcohol, like all that.
Yes, we did this in Cabo recently.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience. And I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, I do too. I just breathed on the podcast. We just talked about how it's scary to like have a podcast and you realize like, oh, I'm breathing so sorry.
You can.
But like we're like breathing and I'm just like having to go off camera and like I don't know how Harry Styles does it when he's sprinting down the stage.
I think about that all the time. Did you were you at Coachella the year that Beyonce headlined?
This last year was my first year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that performance was incredible. I think about it all the time.
I watch it on Netflix a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I think about how she's just stable and steady through that whole thing and running around.
And how?
I don't know. I can't even talk into a mic sitting down most of the time.
No, I can't either. I literally made sure I got here to the studio today early because I know I'm going to have to be wandering around the building, like searching for everything. And then I need to have time to sit down on the couch and catch my breath. Like, that's the most important thing.
I couldn't agree more. I get to every recording early because I'm like, I need to like center myself so I'm not coming off too like abrasive.
Like panicked.
Like panicked and it's just not good.
No, it's not the vibe. I really have to. I've known that like about like pre-games anywhere. Like the worst thing in the world to me is showing up to a dinner, a pre-game, podcast, whatever it might be, and like sweating because like you've just put so much effort into getting ready. I mean, I take a shower and like maybe shave like sometimes and brush my teeth and like, but I'm already sweating. It's like, well, I want you to see me at my best point because Lord only knows I'm gonna be like drunk later and I'm gonna look just so disheveled. So
what do you do? Would you rather be late or do you just like plan things super in advance?
I am not like, I feel like living in LA especially, like plans are always like we don't know. Like my friends will be like, oh, can I come visit like XYZ date in like 3 months? I'm like, sure. And they're like, okay, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know yet. And like, we won't know and probably till a couple days up until what we're going to be doing.
Sometimes like an hour before.
Yeah, like an hour before. Like we just kind of just go with the flow and like wherever the wind takes us, like that's what we're doing. So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't like planning super ahead, but like trips in advance. Yeah. Like I just planned our group trip to Palm Springs, which we did for 4th of July. But like I planned that on Tuesday and we left Saturday.
Are you the planner in the group?
I am the one that makes sure everyone does something. Like, so I'm like, okay, no one's talking about planning. I'm not sure what everyone is doing. Like, can you guys wake up? Like, we're going to do something. We're going to go somewhere. And so, because I know, like, I mean, I think someone would do it, but I just hate the anxiety of being like, okay, we don't have anything to do. And, like, I have to plan it.
That's how I am. So, I plan every trip. Yeah. But a lot of my trips my friends will go on with me. It's like, I'm recording in a city for a week and they meet me that weekend.
Yeah.
So like it conveniently is around my schedule, you know?
Right.
But I'm like, I mean, we would do nothing if it weren't for me. Like, what are they doing? They're not booking, they're not planning, they're not doing anything. I would like more recognition, I think, at the end of the day.
That's why I'm also worried about like dating as well, because like I don't even want to be like, I am that person, and I know when I start dating more seriously that like I'm gonna have such bad anxiety that they're not gonna be a planner. And like I very much like for people to do that for me. I guess that's why I do it for people in the time being. But like, you know, when I start seriously dating someone, like I want them to.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, like I need them to like take the reins, because like I have enough of this in my friendship life. Like I can't do it in my like dating life.
In every other aspect, I am the planner. So like when I'm dating someone, they need to do it. I need some time off.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that confuses the person that we're dating, because they're like, okay, this is so not like you, because normally like you're the one making all the plans, and like now you're wanting me to make the plans. So like, I don't know how we balance that, or let them know that like, hey, here's the situation. Like you're gonna have to be pulling more weight here.
I'm just gonna tell my friends, be like, shut up! Don't tell them that I'm doing this. Like you can't tell them. Like Lauren, you planned this. Like someone else planned it. And then just like trick them.
Or just like you plan it and then tell someone else they can take all the credit for this round.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. And it'll
you still
kill
want
me,
it perfect. Like, everyone's like, I love this restaurant. And you're like, yeah, good job.
Yeah, good idea, you guys.
Good idea. I wonder who had it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you just moved to Los Angeles relatively recently.
Yeah, it's like I'm upcoming. I think I'm at like 10 months or so. So
how is it going? And how have you made new friends in a new city?
It's been exhausting. I know since you've lived in LA, I loved watching your vlogs. Like, you know, it's so weird living here because I've met so many creators and people who I've watched online for like, so I sound like a stalker every time I talk about this. But like,
also, I appreciate when people say, like, I think, and TK is the best about this.
So good.
She's so good about this. Yeah. Like being like, oh my God, I love following you. Because then it's like, it's, I don't know. I just think it's better.
Yeah. It breaks like the awkwardness. Yes. So I've had to like get over that, because I know being here, I'm going to meet people who I've been like the other day, for example, like Fibula, Connor Wood, like me and Brooke Averick, Lady Efron, who's like one of my best friends, were looking back at my old comments on like Fibula's TikToks. And it was like, I'm begging you to go have like chicken fingers and a martini. And I had one of those things where it's like day 2 of me asking you to go on a date with me.
Did he go with you?
Well, I mean, we have like shared experiences like that, but I wouldn't call it a date. Okay. In my mind, maybe his mind, definitely not. But I think it's funny to like run into those people. But it really like, it all happened through. So my roommate Patricia, I moved in with her. They were out of town one weekend, her and her boyfriend Matt, and like I had met Average Fashion Blogger, which is corny, on like FaceTime. We DM'd a lot.
Did you know that we're from like one town away from each other?
Really?
We figured that out at Stagecoach.
Oh,
so
that's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So like huge fan of her, and like a lot of people always would tag me in her content or her in mine, and being like, you guys like need to be friends. And so one day she invited me to Barney's Beanery, which love Barney's, such a fun little vibe.
Yeah.
And then I met like a group of 6 of the people who would like soon be like some of my all best friends. Like, so that kind of got it started. And I remember the first weekend I hung out with like a big group of like creators, and then also like people who have normal jobs who just live here. So it was like a mix of what I do and like who I am. And we all went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. And I would say that is a great bonding experience that people need to have, especially like if you want to make friends and someone invites you to Halloween Horror Nights, like get your ass up and go. Yeah. Like, you know.
And like just wait until Halloween rolls around and then you're big in there. There you go.
I mean, so it really worked out like perfectly with the timing. I moved here last September, and then like we kind of like, I don't know. It's so weird when I think, I was talking to my best friend Patrick last night, and I was like, it's weird. I'm like coming up on a year, and I feel like it's flown by, and how I feel so comfortable with all these relationships so quickly is like really cool to like me to just look back and see where I was and how scared I was to move to LA, because like I've heard horror stories, like, and then you were also like, your content's making me want to like move to Dallas, and I'm like, shit, like Kenzie was in LA, like she, like her life was like, I loved watching, you know, like your channel evolve and like how you made your life, and like bi-coastal and all over the place. So it's so confusing. You're like, shit, did I make the wrong choice? Or like, but you just have to realize like you got to give it a try, or else like, you know, you'll never know if you made the wrong choice. And you know, who knows, I could move in the next few years. I don't want to, but like I'm good where I am right now. So yeah.
And you guys have such a good group here.
It's really fun.
It's hard, especially I would say like LA compared to other cities is typically a harder city to make friends, just because it's a little more spread out. Like people, it's a transplant city. Like there's certain things that like are a little bit against you, but you can still make friends. And you guys just have such a good group. Like Dom says this all the time. She's like, they have literally the best group of friends. Like it just worked out so well. But you also, she's like, they also have like people with normal jobs, which is very hard to find.
That's what makes it, I think, work
and she's like, that's
so
what
well.
makes it better.
Yeah, it's like we have a balance of people who like, they still have really cool jobs, but they're just like normal 9 to 5. And so like we also have these creators in place, but like we all have the same humor, like, but like we get to see other people's lives and like what they do. So it's so funny, like a day of like us just chilling. And since we're all remote, like my job is based in Minneapolis, so like I have like that where I'm like fully remote. And then it's just funny to see like, you know, Brooke like making TikToks and like that's our like 9 to 5, but like that's her dream, like that's what she wants to do. And like for me, that is kind of something I'm struggling with, is going from like the, you know, I have a 9 to 5 job. I love that it keeps me busy, and I have a Google Calendar and it's exciting, but I also love the freedom of like content creation and the cool access that gives. So, I mean, I think our friend group's like a perfect place, because like we have the people who get the +1s and they can invite me and all our other friends with normal jobs. And then they can also like, you know, we can, I don't know, it's just the perfect, like,
you like the nice ratio there.
Yes. Yeah. It's just the perfect setup. And like, it's brought me closer to so many people like in the city, and I feel like we found like the real people who, you know, it's not all about like the likes and whatever, like it's about like, this sounds so fucking cheesy, but like it really is. Like I feel like it's cool to meet these people in real life, and they have the same humor and the same like,
they're genuine.
You know, yes, genuine people. And a lot of them are Southern, like of course, but like of course the Southerners are coming in strong with the niceness. I don't know, I think there's something like special about a Southerner living in LA, or like
it's crazy the amount of people that when I moved to LA, I hung out with so many Texans that were living in LA, and we would just naturally gravitate towards each other, not even knowing. It happened all the time. I want to talk about your 9 to 5 and content creation in a second, but let's give advice. Okay. So if someone they live in a new city, okay, they have absolutely no friends, and they kind of know this person through Instagram, but they're afraid to reach out, what should they DM them to hang out? And first off, you need to DM them and stop getting in your head about it. Yeah,
definitely DM them. If you looked through my DMs right now, like, or even like, I would say like a year ago, like if you looked in my DMs and you were like, you sound crazy. Like I remember when I met like Margot Oshray and like Claudia and all of them, like I was like, I mean, I'm a huge Morning Toast fan. Like I had been DMing them so many times. Like I looked like a fucking creeper. So I had to tell them, I was like, hey, like just really love your content, but like I'm not weird. So for me, it's happened more so where I wouldn't feel uncomfortable about the DMs that I've sent. But I think it's important when you are in the same room as these people, because when you live in a city like New York, LA, Dallas, Atlanta, like you're gonna be in the same room as a lot of content creators and, you know, people, friends of friends. And like even like job connections, or like, you know, someone that your friend might have known from college, like you have to be able to just like speak up and use your voice, like, because that's been my scary thing. I'm like, I can't go up to them, like I'm gonna have a panic attack, like, and what if they're rude? Like I don't want to meet someone and then they like
ruins
think,
it.
Yeah, and it just ruins the vibe. But for me, I've just had to learn to like speak up and kind of just like go for it, rather than like, you know, it's hard like just DMing someone and be like, hey, let's grab a coffee, because that sometimes can be a little scary for like, I guess like both parties, because they really don't know. Like you can look like the sweetest person on Instagram and then be like a serial killer. So like
you never know these days.
Literally. So I mean, for me, I've just had to go outside of my comfort zone and be like, I know I've DM'd you, like I know I'm a fan of your content, or even like friends of friends, like, you know, seeing someone that looks remotely familiar being like, oh, I think we've met, or I think you know my friend, or something like that, to just like, you know, they might be feeling the exact same way as you, like uncomfortable or like scared to go up, like that you'll be mean or like something like that. So
especially if you're in a room with someone that you know you have a mutual friend with, just in general, especially like post grad, it's like, oh, you moved to this city. Acting like you don't know who someone is doesn't make you cool. It makes you seem so unbelievably rude. And I think sometimes people do it just from like social anxiety, which like makes sense. But it is so much cooler to be like, oh my God, like we shared this friend or something. Like I think sometimes people are like, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm weird. No, you seem so much cooler. You seem more confident. You seem friendlier, approachable. Like you've got to do that. And also, girls are always, first off, join my Geneva chat, because people are making friends there all the time. But I think people are so scared of like reaching out to someone that they want to hang out with. And 9 times out of 10, I think those people probably also want friends. And who cares if they like whatever? I think it's just worth a shot. If you're in a city and you're by yourself and you're very lonely, like we've got to make some moves, you know? And I'm telling you, DM, like literally TikTok, the amount of girls that I know now who met through TikTok, like it's not weird to reach out to someone and be like, hey, like just moved to the city, like would you want to get drinks sometime or like get coffee or go work out here or whatever? Yeah. You'll make so many friends that way. I've made so many friends.
Me too. Way. Yeah. It's like I get how it's scary, but like what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, number one, they're going to say no, which they won't. Like, if they're a normal person with like an inkling of like respect, they are not going to say no. Or they're going to say like, yeah, sure, let's hang out. Like, you know this person. Like, come to this pregame. Come to this birthday party with me. Like, there's always room for a +1 at a birthday party. Like, it's just like someone's going to, you know, and that's also how I've met like other people is just like at birthday parties. Like, sometimes you're scared because like, I think birthday parties are like so uncomfortable anyway, like dinners especially. Cause,
and by the way, there's a birthday every single day. I am exhausted.
Like, stop being bored. That sounds bad, but like, it's so exhausting.
No, it is so exhausting. I say that as like, I'm doing a birthday trip in 2 weeks, so like maybe we'll stop after. But it's my 25th, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm also paying for the trip, so like it's good for my friends.
Right.
And that's because I feel so guilty making people celebrate my birthday. Yeah. You know, like.
But there's so many birthdays. Like, I had no clue all of you were actually born. Like, I'm so confused.
When did this happen?
No, I have no clue.
It's too much.
Baffling to me.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I mean, since I've lived here, like, I've gone to so many birthday parties where people I've even met just, like, one time. And, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if that's because they want people, but, like, or, like, want to meet friends or something. But, I mean, it's exhausting doing birthdays.
Yeah, well, you're also really fun. So, like, everyone probably wants you at their parties because they're like, oh, well, if it's lame, at least Tristan's there. Yeah, I also think the number one way I've made friends, post-grad specifically, has been through other friends. Mm-hmm. So moving back to Texas, obviously I knew a lot of these people before and I grew up with them. Some of us have been friends for 15 years. But any new friends that I've had in Texas specifically, for the most part, it's through mutual friends. So they like went to college with one of my friends. They're a coworker of one of my friends, and we're all
coworkers.
Yes, coworkers.
So many connections to be made with like coworkers.
Exactly.
Like,
so there's friends everywhere. You just have to put the effort in. To have a friend, you have to be a friend. That's what I always say.
That is too sweet.
It's a little profound, something that I stole from someone else, obviously.
Yeah, I love that.
Didn't come up with myself, but okay. Let's talk about you being a working bee.
Okay.
You are all over the town. You are working all the time. So, like, how are you managing that? And also your social life. Like, my God, I'm tired.
I have to get, that's a very big compliment coming from you, so thank you. Because I feel like I see your content and I like, this is just us being like, I love you so much.
Yeah, literally.
I, like, so every day I work on central hours. So I wake up around like 7:30. Not a morning person. Do not like waking up early in the morning. Like, always say I'm going to, but don't.
Not for you.
Not for me, and
you
I think that's okay. Yeah, like let's normalize. Like, I mean, me telling this to you, normalize sleeping in.
No, but that's fine. Like, I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
I'm like normalize sleeping in, and then making your like morning coffee at like 10:30. Like that's just what I have to do.
Normalize listening to your body. You know?
Right, and I listen to my body. Well, not all the time. Like sometimes it's like you have to stop. Like my body's screaming at me.
Oh,
like,
I get sick before I stop.
Yeah, it's gonna go into like a software update here shortly. Yes. Like it's gonna be like make a forced software update.
Yep.
But yeah, I wake up. I work Central Time hours in LA, so that's 2 hours behind. So they get started around 9. I get started around like 7. I should say 7 on here. If any of my coworkers are watching, I start at 7. But 7:30-ish, have my morning meetings. And then I kind of like, I get the freedom of this job is great because they really care about like your personal life. And they understand like if you need to have like, they're like, if it's not longer than like 4 hours or something, you don't have to take PTO. Like you don't have to let us know. Like as long as you're responding to your shit and like you're good to go, then like, you know, we trust you. Like they know. Once you're like build up that trust and like know that you're going to get the work done, like they're good. So it really helps my freedom here as like a very tiny content creator and like more like friends with content creators to be able to go to events like during the day, little pop-ups or like, you know, get to run errands, go to the mall with people, like go lay and work at the pool because I get off so much earlier because of the Central Time. So I get off at like 3 o'clock. So
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
and then when is your content creation happening?
Then that just goes into full force right after. So like now this
you're born for the camera, so kind of all the time.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is exhausting. I get it.
So brave. So that kind of shifts. Like I will do content like throughout the day. I'm trying to get a little better at that because I like get scared, like my work people aren't gonna think I'm working, but like I'm getting my stuff done, so like I shouldn't feel bad. But so then I'll shift into like afternoon, like content time. I'm doing this podcast, and after this I'm going to record my podcast with a guest and then do a solo one with Patricia for our podcast, Chris Glam. And then, I'll probably repost some pictures. I need to do a feed post. Like, this all sounds so, like, little, but, like, I've been talking with TK, and she's, like, every time she sees me, she's like, I don't know why you're not posting more. Like, she's like, you really need to
That
make
is
some
the
reels.
most TK thing I've ever heard in my life.
Like,
yes.
I'm like, shit, give me a second, TK. So I'm always, making sure that I try to put stuff out there, but like there's just some days where I'm so tired from the workday, I'm like, I don't even want to try to make something funny, because like if it's not gonna make me laugh, like I'm not gonna post it. Like I just post stuff that like if I find myself giggling at it, I'm like, okay, this will be good. Like no matter, I try not to look at. I used to be so obsessed when I did Bachelor recaps with like numbers and shares and all that, but then I was like, it doesn't matter. Like people are still watching my content regardless, and there are people who love it. So I just kind of really make sure I think it's funny and it's good, and then I just post it. So
how did you stop freaking out about like numbers?
It's
like
so hard.
The Bachelor thing.
I think it was just because like working in social media, like I did like influencer marketing, like everything like that, strategy and stuff for my like professional job. And I was like, I can worry about the numbers there for like my clients, and like it doesn't need to be like. That's why I'm so hesitant to quit, a full-time job and do influencer stuff like full-time, like YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, TikTok, because I don't want to lose. Where it is now for me is it's a hobby. It's like something really fun to do. Like I can just like bebop around on my phone and like, share my life, like whether it's funny or just like everyday living in LA or traveling. But I don't want to lose like that aspect of like feeling like I have to get on and post today. Like I have to, like I'm going to be irrelevant. So I just try to tell myself like, this is for fun. Like, why am I stressing myself out about this numbers? Like they're going to come, they're going to go. Like, I think in the last like couple months, I've lost like 1,000 followers, and that's the one thing I do look at is the unfollowers, because I just like to know who's unfollowed me.
Oh, I have so many people unfollowing me every single week. That's so normal. Yeah.
So that's like the only thing I care about. Just like the individual like relationship aspect of it, because I will text them and like say.
Oh, like you have an unfollow app.
Yes.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I do insights. So you see who.
And I am seeing names directly.
Okay, so someone unfollows you. What's the text you're sending?
Someone unfollows me. The protocol is as following.
Okay.
And it's really like an important piece of information. So I have my app. Do that, go through like whatever. It's a lot of people who like have lost interest, whatever. And then I'll see if like I mutually follow them back, and if I do, then like if I follow them and if we're like friends, then I will screenshot that unfollowing, and I said, oops, like you must have accidentally unfollowed me, like what happened here?
That's really weird, actually. Yeah,
so
weird.
And normally they're like, oh, I didn't mean to, but like, bitch, yes, you did.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So then do they follow you after? Like what's
a
the
lot of the
success
time
rate?
they do follow me back, and then at that point I just feel guilty, because I'm just like I was just fucking with you, like.
No, I don't think you should feel guilty.
Okay, good.
I think you have to stand by your choices.
I mean, I think I should, like, there's got to be a reason that I'm like telling them that. I'm like, oh, why can't you don't like my face?
Are you a people pleaser?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
100% people pleaser.
Yeah, I kind of got that. Is that bad when it comes to like your schedule being very busy?
Yes. Yeah.
And you run yourself dry because you're a people pleaser?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why like when you see me out and about all the time, it's because I feel bad for saying no. I always want to be with people. I want to hang out, like, but I need to have my recharge time. And so like when I'm in my bed and people come over to my house, like that's just my time where I'm like, just need like 2 seconds to just like really recharge, and I'm going to look like an animal. But like I promise, like in an hour, I'll be ready to go and like all good.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of a people pleaser.
That's great.
No, it's
How
not.
do you do it?
Honestly, it comes from a place of like I put my career before everything for so long, which was not healthy and was not great, and I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm like, if I am not, like, I only really noticed how much of a people pleaser I wasn't because Dom is such a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So I would be like, I don't understand why you're saying yes to this when you're not gonna be like mentally there. Like I just like didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And Dom is nicer than I am, and that's the difference, And people like her because she does like she's nicer, And I'm not a mean person, but like if I'm not up for it, I just am gonna make up. Like I'm not gonna be like fun.
Are you honest about like if you don't want to go to things?
Yeah, I'll just be like, guys, I really can't do it today.
Okay.
But with that being said, it's very rare that happens because I spend like Monday through Wednesday alone. Like it's very rare that I'll even see a friend at night. Like I have to spend like 3 days by myself because I'm wild and crazy all the time outside of those days. So I need those 3 days to recharge. And by the time I've done that, I've recharged and like I'm ready to go. And also I'm normally the one who makes the plan. So there's not really people to like, people aren't really inviting me to things now that I think about it. It's mainly me inviting them. So it'd be hard to reject myself.
This is another conversation we need to have.
So now I'm like gonna text
Pull
my
up the
friends.
group chat.
Yeah. I will say though, in LA, I'm just naturally really drained here. So this is the city that I'm like, oh, like selfishly, so many people are out of town this week, and I was like really grateful, even though I love my friends so much, but I'm like, I'm not here that long and I'm here to work. So like I want to see, especially like when I make new friends in LA, I'm like I also like want to see them, and they're not all friends with each other, and then I feel like someone's gonna be mad, I'm gonna hurt someone's feelings, and it's not because I don't want to see them, it's because, so in that way I'm a people pleaser, I guess. Now it's really coming out, but like I get more drained and stressed here because I do want to fit so much into like a short amount of time. Yeah,
that's hard. So do you have like, do your friends know about your like Monday through Wednesday kind of like don't talk to me vibes? Or
because we're all kind of like that, honestly. Besides like two of us, like I'm with the same group of people all the time, and we really don't do things Monday through Wednesday.
That's what I think that's so weird because that was me in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And why I moved, a lot of the reason why I moved to LA was because I wanted like to have like the opportunity to do something every single night of the week. Like even if I'm not going to do it, I wanted the opportunity.
No,
like,
I couldn't.
I know. And I don't know why I'm like that because I'm always craving downtime. And I remember living in Atlanta being like, there's so much downtime. And I'm like, I only go out on the weekends. And that's why I like a little bit of like the changing of schedules in LA, because like there are so many people with different schedules and like, you know, you can go to different things and do different stuff. But like, it's really every single day of the week. Like if you want to do something every single night of the week in LA, like you realistically could, like there's something going on like across the street. But I find myself having trouble balancing like the ability to like, even if it's people just coming over to my house and like us hanging out, drinking wine, watching a movie, like we do that a lot, but that's still an activity. Like
that's true.
It's still like,
also, all my friends have traditional 9-to-5 jobs in Texas.
Yeah.
So like that, I don't have that during the day, like that pull. I won't even, like if there's certain events and it's past like 7 p.m. on a Monday through Wednesday, like I'm not coming. Like it's not happening. I'm in bed. I'm literally in bed by 8 p.m. with my Kindle.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's it. I can't deal with you. But when I'm out, I'm fully there.
Yes.
They're
locked and loaded.
I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go. Like I am not going home early.
I saw you at Stagecoach. Okay, you were ready to go.
Oh, I was especially ready at Stagecoach. Yeah. So I don't know. Now that I'm saying that out loud, maybe I am a little bit of a people pleaser.
I think you have a little bit of it in you, but I think it's hard to not be a little bit of a people pleaser.
Yeah, I think everyone has it to a certain extent. I just am not a people pleaser in the sense of like on my normal day to day feeling like I need to be certain places. But I never even had FOMO until COVID. Like I had the opposite of that. I loved being at home by myself. I'm like, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Like I'm tired. And I was so drained. My schedule here was so busy.
Right.
So I didn't even have FOMO until now when I'm anywhere else besides Texas. I have FOMO. Like my friends are together on the weekends.
It's
like
horrifying.
I could be in New York City doing like the coolest thing, and I'm like, wait,
on a
what
boat,
are you?
Like with
literally, I'm like, wait, but like, what are you guys doing without me?
Yeah.
Like, oh, interesting. I'm like, someone.
Oh, like you're still doing stuff even though I'm out of town.
The world still spins when I'm not there. I'm
I get
confused.
so pissed. Like this is for everyone who is moving to a new town and you have to leave a group of friends, because I left like a lot of my best friends like in Atlanta. And still keep in touch with them, like love them to death, like they're my best friends, but it's like so annoying to see them out, and I'm like, you guys are going to the same like fun club that like you know I really like. And then the worst is when they told me about a club in Atlanta that's closing that I really like. We loved going there, and like the basement was such a fun vibe, and like I didn't even know it was closing. So like there's so much happening, and you just have to like be aware that you're gonna be like, oh shit, like there's still like the world's still revolving even though I'm gone.
The world
like,
goes on without you.
Yeah, so
it's tough.
It's just a realization you have to make, even though like, and that goes with like everyday sittings or just like big events, life changes, like people's lives are still happening.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's really fucked up, by the way.
It's really annoying, actually. What made you like finally decide to move to LA?
So it was like years of me just like watching, literally, I think vlogs played like a big part of it, like watching, you know, the lifestyle here. I love palm trees. I love the weather here specifically, because the weather in Alabama and Georgia is like so humid, so muggy. I always knew my goal is to like be a host personality type and do red carpets and like events, like even if it's like right now for like people in social media and events like that, like I would love to do something like that. Or if it's like, you know, kind of like late show, James Corden.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like the energy of LA, when you have that energy, because sometimes you don't always have that. Sometimes you're like, why did I move here? Like, I'm so far away from my family. Like, when something happens, you're like, I just want to be home. Like, I need to, like, my mom, my dog, my dad. But I finally was just like, you know what, I have to do it for me, because I don't want to look back and say, like, I didn't do it. Like, I know I have it in me to just try, and if it doesn't work out, then I can come right back to Atlanta or go to New York, go to Texas. Like, those are all places I was like looking to move as well. But at the end of the day, LA was like, I'd been coming up for years, like, you know, for months at a time. And I'd stay here for a month, meet new friends, go out, and then just crave more. And then I'd sob crying on the plane ride home, like back to the South. Cause I'd be like, I just need a change in my life. Cause I grew up in Alabama, went to college in Alabama, and then moved to Atlanta. So I've always been like Southern boy with a, you know, mind that wants to travel. So.
And then when you decided to move, how did you like find a place to live, or if you wanted roommates, like how did you do that?
Yeah. So I had it easy. I think, so I'll touch on the roommate part. Like Patricia Flack, who's my roommate, who's now, we do a podcast together. She's been living in that house for like 4 years. And she actually, like, there were some Texas girls that lived in there before her.
Classic.
And so it was just like a passed down like house. So that part was like, had always been figured out for me. And which was great. Like, I knew the rent price, like going in, I knew how much I had to pay for a deposit to save up. I think the like most important, like hardest part was bringing up the conversation to my parents, because I'm super close with my family, and I didn't like, and especially my friends, like it's so hard to just like say like, this is what I'm doing, because it turns into like an idea in your mind versus like an actual pen on paper thing. Like, no, mom, like you actually are gonna have to drive with me to Los Angeles like on X date, and like I want to be there here, and like I'm moving in, like, and like we'll figure out the rest, the flights home for, you know, whenever, birthdays, holidays, and everything like that. So that was the hardest thing for me. And then my job at the time was going to let me work remote in LA. So I was like, okay, might as well.
You really did have such a good setup.
It was like everything was happening. Like I had gotten right before COVID, I actually got fired from my job in marketing at this other agency. And
we don't like them. We don't talk about them.
No, we don't talk about them anymore. And at the time I was so devastated, because I was like, I'm like fired, like no one wants me. I was like in a dark hole, like not doing, it was not like the me you see today. Like I was in my bed the entire day, all day, would not even shower, like would literally only get up to go get like food. And then like I got a new job in that December, and it ended up being like, it carried me all through COVID, and like that was the same job like that was going to let me move here, because like, you know, they built up some, like I built up a relationship with them, and they really trusted me and allowed me to make that leap without them, or, you know, with them, but you know, in LA. So yeah, so that really like made me happy, and yeah,
it worked out so well.
It did.
Have you been homesick yet?
Yeah, for sure. I always like get a little bit like homesick, like especially like my mom FaceTimes me. She's a chronic like FaceTimer, especially when she has like one glass of wine. Yeah. If she like smells wine in the premises, like she's FaceTiming me and every single person in her phone book. But yeah, I get homesick. I mean, probably like a couple times a month, like just like, and it could be anywhere from like an hour, like 5 minutes, where I'm like, oh, I just need to FaceTime them and I'll be okay.
So that's what you do to like fix it?
Yeah,
it's just
I'm like,
FaceTime?
I need to like pick up the phone and call. But my parents' ears are always ringing, because like they know when I'm going to like or they're like, the other day I was thinking about them, and then literally they called me, and then they were looking at old pictures of like me like growing up. I was like, fuck you guys, I'm sad. Like, don't do that. So
that's sweet.
Yeah.
When I was like homesick when I moved and lived here, the best thing that I did was like create a routine and a life here, because I feel like when you move to a new city, so if anyone's listening to this and they're not maybe loving where they're at, or they're just really homesick and haven't established a life for themselves, like Tristan said, you have to like give it a chance, but also make a routine for yourself. Like find your grocery store, find the place that you get coffee, find where you want to either work out or go out to the clubs, or like find like your go-to places. And over time it feels like a little bit more like home. But for me, having those like set places, like I would go to Blue Bottle every day. Yeah. Like there was certain places that like my grocery store, when I moved to Studio City, like I would go to Trader Joe's. Like I had my certain things that I would do, and it made me feel a lot more like almost connected to the city. Like I just felt like, okay, this is home right now. You know?
Oh, that's so weird. I love that you like lived in LA, and like, you know, Do you ever like miss it at all? I mean, I know you
no
you
offense.
loved Dallas. No, I know like you were such a Dallas girl. Like
I loved it when I lived here though. Like I wasn't ever here like, oh my God, I hate LA. It was not that.
Right.
And even when I moved, I wasn't supposed to move full time. It was just COVID happened and then I just didn't come back I was renting here and I bought there. But I don't know. I also, when I was here, I was a full-time college student. I was working full-time and I had a full-time internship.
Yeah.
And so I had literally and I worked out every day. I had literally no time to like actually build a life here.
that's when I was watching your vlogs. I was like, how on God's green earth
I hung out
did
with
you
like
do that?
my boyfriend at the time and like maybe a roommate. Like if anyone wanted to hang out with me, they would have to come at my house and like we would do homework together or something. Like I didn't have a free hour for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it was hard because I'm like, it really, and I went through like different life phases in LA. So I'm like, a lot of the friends that I love, honestly, I see them more now that I don't live here than I ever did when I lived here. And then I built a life for myself in Dallas. And like, I just found my people. Like if I lived here and y'all lived here, it would have been a totally, like at the same time, it would have been a totally different experience for me. I just didn't. I had
I'm
great
like
friends.
imagining like you here.
I know.
I want you here.
I would be with you every day.
I know. I literally feel like we would do stuff.
Every
you would
day.
like drag my ass out of bed and be like, we're going.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I just also was able to. Dallas is definitely more my city, but I was also able to like build a life there.
Yeah,
and I love my life there. So.
No, it's so great. You've got the best like house set up. Like
it worked out so
everything
well.
is.
We've
your
gotta
new
go to
rug is
Billy
great.
Bob's.
You don't think I know that? Like I'm screaming to. I've got to book a trip to Texas.
We should do Chris Stapleton's coming soon.
Because my family is from, I have like Texas roots, so like I'm ready to go.
Okay, we have to find the right concert, and then we'll do a weekend. We should actually even stay at Hotel Trevor. I have a whole weekend for us.
No, I would love to do. I'm actually trying to do a staycation in LA at a hotel.
Yes.
But like I want to have a hotel experience soon, and that can even be in Dallas. So like I need you to like set it all up because like I'm not planning it.
No, and we need to go. Not even Dallas. If we want like Texas, we're gonna go to Hotel Drover in Fort Worth.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I love Fort Worth.
Greatest place in the entire world. The
Really?
Stockyards. Oh my God, I was born to be there. Like I don't know why I didn't grow up going there. No one in Dallas goes to Fort Worth really.
How are we gonna do? I don't think we can do a trip together, but it's gonna be a really great trip.
We're gonna need a few days off. Then yeah, it's not gonna be good. We'll have IVs every morning.
Yeah, but like who's gonna like you're gonna have to plan one day. I'm gonna have to plan one day. Like, we're gonna really have to like set boundaries of like
it's gonna be tough. Yeah. Okay.
But we can take joint credit of everything.
Oh, definitely. And by the way, I would love for you to play. I don't care. It's more so just like I have
No, this is your territory. So like you really need to show me the ropes because I'm very intrigued about the Texas lifestyle. That's not out of the cards for me. Like in the next few years, like who knows? Like I could be right there.
Okay, perfect. I love that. Well, thank you for coming on. You guys,
this was so fun.
Stay tuned for the Texas vlogs with us.
Because, they're going to be happening.
Yeah, they're going to be happening. Okay, where can they find you and your podcast?
So my name's Tristan Watson. You can find me at Tristan_Watson. That's TRISTAN_Watson, WATSON. And my podcast is Grits to Glam. It's grits like the food to glam, so like Southern to Los Angeles.
Love.
And then I think that's. I mean, my TikTok's Tris Talks, but it's not really like popping off. But
I love your TikTok.
I'm gonna try to do some work. I was filming today, so
okay, good. Love
you'll
that.
see Kenzie and
we need to
upcoming
TikToks.
TikToks. I know.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Love you.
Love you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by giving it a nice thumbs up and subscribe for more.